Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. For this video, I'm going to give you guys a bit of a sneak peek, and in fact, a little bit of a review from the latest releases to come out of the Swiss watch company. And that's their sports models, which are slated to be released on Kickstarter on August 10th of this year. Now, one of the owners, Josh, was kind enough to lend in a couple of the sports models in for this review. So in my right hand here, this is the black Swiss automatic watch, and it's also got a nice DLC coated case. And then in my left hand here, this is the quartz variation of the sports watch. And there's multiple colorways available, but I really love the blue color that they sent in for this review. Now, if you're not familiar with the Micro brand, the Swiss watch company, they're a family-owned company. Their father is the founder, and then all the children, and I think the mother is involved as well. And more recently, they also started putting out YouTube content. So if you're interested into strong industry insights for watchmaking, check out their YouTube channel. I'll link to it in the description of this video as well. And one last point I'll make before I turn the camera around so you guys can see these watches up close is that I'm dealing with pre-final production models. So there might be some subtle changes to the final product, and I'll try to identify what those minor tweaks will be throughout the course of this video. Alright guys, so now we got the camera turned around in my studio, and you guys can see exactly what you're going to get if you choose to purchase these watches after August 10th through Kickstarter. So SWC does a great job making these travel cases that will include the watch and straps. And if you pick up the watch, it's going to come on the rubber strap configuration, but they're also going to toss you this really nice Velcro nylon style strap, very reminiscent of those Marine Nationale or parachute straps you see. So it's a great bonus feature to have. For an extra cost, you can also retrofit your sports model with these bracelets, which is very well constructed. 3-link design, you can see it's got nice polished center links. I like the feature where you have a solid end link, but you have quick release spring bars, so it's very quick to swap to the rubber or nylon strap. And then you have this rather long clasp that has micro adjustment ratcheting extension, but very nicely milled out swing arm. And then these other set of twin triggers is for the ratcheting micro adjustment. In fact, the bracelet is very similar to the one that's supplied on the SWC diver, which I currently have. And one of my original gripes about it was the overall length of a clasp, which is pretty much the length of the head of the watch. It kind of works on the diver, but one change moving forward that I think is very beneficial is that they're going to cut down on the overall length of a clasp. They're going to truncate it a little bit better for the sports model, but it will still have the ratcheting micro extension. Now before we take a closer look at the dials for these watches, let's talk about pricing. If you opt for the quartz model here on the left, that's going to run a very reasonable $269 US. And then if you want to go with the full Swiss automatic, it's going to be $389 US. And then if you want the DLC coded version, that's going to be an extra $20. Alright, so let's talk about some of the common characteristics between both the quartz version and the automatic version of the SWC Sports models. With respect to case dimensions, both run about 41 millimeters across the case. And then if you flip to the side, the lug-to-lug profile on both is going to be about 47 millimeters across. Case thickness is quite similar, with the quartz here being just under 12 millimeters in thickness, and the automatic with the mechanical movement is going to be about 12.3 millimeters in case thickness. The lug openings for the rubber bracelet here is 22 millimeters. Now both watches are also water resistant down to 100 meters. They both have really nice sapphire crystals and fairly similar dial design layouts. By far, I think one of the coolest features about this watch, and definitely took the most R&D time by the owners, is to make that outer ceramic ring that you see with the indexes, which look applied, but it's actually one continual ring of ceramic. Now, the ceramic indices as well as the handset do have really nice Swiss superluminova on it, and I'll throw up a low light shot of the lume for these watches right now. And one of the changes going forward is that they're going to enhance the lume, especially on the handset, with 20 layers of luminova, and it's going to be color matched. So for funsies, I'll also throw up a shot of these two watches with my SWC diver. And like the blue dial on the diver, the blue quartz version is going to have blue BGW9. And I think you can see that the Swiss Auto here, the blacked out version, has more of a green C3 lume. Now if we just focus on the quartz model, there are some subtle differences between the quartz and the automatic variations. Probably the most notable feature is at the 6 o'clock, there's a subdial for a second time zone. And that's because for this specific quartz variant, they're using a Swiss Ronda 4210-B, which is a very accurate quartz movement with a long power reserve between 3 to 5 years. And for the dual time zone complication, you can see that there's actually this small pusher near the 4 o'clock side of the case. And if you just depress that pusher using like a toothpick, you can rapidly cycle the actual time. Now, the quartz movement does have a push-pull crown, so it's not screwed down. But if you pull it all the way out, you can quickly set the time however you like. And this is a full 316L stainless steel case with very nice brush working on the sides of the case, signed Swiss Watch Company logo, nice polished bevels on the sides, and then the rubber straps are really cool. You do have the SWC logo, kind of like a steel rivet here. And they are going to make some subtle changes to the rubber strap, but it's nicely vented. And you have a very secure deployment clasp. And you can see that the clasp itself anchors onto 2 of the strap holes. And I'll just show you guys the case back because it's really well done. They did a oil press case back with a similar brick pattern that's found on the center portion of a dial there. That's very detailed. And the case back is screwed in with small screws to aid in that 100 meter water resistance rating. And before I switch over to the automatic version of this watch, I'll just mention some of the subtle changes that are going to be had for this piece. If you see that second hand not perfectly aligning with the minute indexes, they will ensure that that's corrected for the final product. And then if you can see close to the 6 o'clock under the subdial there, it does say Swiss made. And if that's not perfectly aligned, that will also be attenuated when they release the final product on Kickstarter. Okay, so let's take a look at the automatic version of this watch. This one is a fairly clean design. There's no added complication. It's a pure 3-hand movement. The automatic movement housed inside this watch is a Swiss Sellita SW200. And it does have a screw-down crown, so if you want to manually wind the movement, you have to unscrew the crown first. There is a ghost position because this has no date complication. And then if you pop it all the way out, again, you can quickly adjust the time however you like and rethread the crown when you're done. Now this particular model does have a DLC coating, so it's purely like a bead blasted finish. You're not going to have any brushing or polishing done, but that's just to ensure the hardening and scratch resistant properties of this case. The rubber strap is going to be fairly similar as well as with the stainless steel buckle on it. And you can see for the DLC it even applies to the case back here, which is really nice. You get a nice consistent finish on these models. So I'll just show you guys some quick wrist shots of these watches, starting with the Quartz blue dial here. I think it looks very sharp. One minor improvement I would say is I do hope that the overall length of the rubber strap is increased because I'm currently on the last 2 holes and it's pretty skin tight. So if your wrist circumference is over 19 centimeters or about 7.5 inches, you might want to throw this on the nylon instead. And here's how the Sports automatic model looks. Again, very similar in profile, ever so slightly thicker, but it wears extremely comfortable on wrist. Well guys, that's a very quick overview of the Quartz and automatic SWC Sports models that are going to be released shortly. Now I do have some minor critiques moving forward. The first one, which I already mentioned, is just the overall length of the rubber strap. I do hope that they do make it a little bit longer for those with larger wrist sizes. And one minor design feature I would add moving forward is just try and make the actual printing of the Swiss watch company below their applied logo a little more legible. It is there, but it's color matched and it has a similar texture as the brick pattern on the dial. But for such a unique watch, if it was me, I would want the name of the company to stand out a little bit more. And then lastly, for the automatic models, I do wish that they had like an added complication, like the date near the 6 o'clock position. I just think it would balance out the logo at the 12 a little bit more. But that said, there is a lot to love about the overall design features of this dial. It's quite original, and for the price point, you're really getting a lot of watch for the money. But guys, I'd love to see your feedback in the comments section of this video. Which one of these sports models would you pick up, or which colorway are you most looking forward to? Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video, and if you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video.